For the quantitative representations of motion, I give them two main problems. The first one, I give them a statement or written description about an object that goes from rest to 25 meters per second in 10 seconds, and telling them the velocity changes at a uniform rate. And so first I have them just draw a qualitative motion map. I just want to see if they know what type of motion it is. But then in part B, that's where I ask them to make a quantitative velocity time graph. And so this right here shows the main error and probably the main misconception that a lot of my students had for this problem. A lot of them drew a parabola, which would represent acceleration on a position time graph, but this is a velocity time graph, so I should be seeing a straight line up there. For C, D, and E, those are all calculation problems where I want them to find the acceleration of the car, which they can either use the equation acceleration equals change in velocity over time, or the slope, the how far equation, so that requires them to use that equation here. I also asked them to find how fast the car is going 3 seconds after it starts. They could use the graph to show that. That's why I tell them they can explain their answer, or they could use an equation like this student did. And finally, I asked them to draw an acceleration time graph on this graph here. The other quantitative one that I have is I have this problem right here. It has a qualitative motion map and a qualitative position time graph that I asked them to draw based off the velocity time graph. But then I asked them to do a couple quantitative things like calculating the acceleration and writing the mathematical model for the object B here. Now, my biggest errors on this page were probably part B. I had a lot of incorrect parabolas. I had them where they were pointing down, so they were starting to accelerate instead of decelerating. I had a couple errors with the negative sign, and I also had a lot of errors with the mathematical model, which we didn't practice with that much, but it was something from a previous unit. So it's something that they should have a little bit more practice on for next time I teach this unit.